So if you'll give me a hand welcoming Matthew Konar up front here.
All right, so how many people here wanted to be an artist when they were a kid? All right, so I got a little bit of a hang of this levitation trick. But what I wanted to start off with, yes, this was my favorite part at SparkCon. And there's two things I wanted you guys to notice on this, and I know it's a little hard to see. The first thing, there's two little kids on the left. Those are my two little kids, Anna and Jack. And if you notice, they're working together, which that makes me real happy. Real happy. The second thing is, oh, I'm already at the second slide. Anna wrote up there, I want to be an artist. And it's that love of wanting to be an artist and doing something purely that I think is great. Now, my second, and maybe even my better moment, was I walked around to the other side of the board and I saw what they were helping each other with, and I saw Jack write, I want to be a ninja. So, I mean, great. So here's my dilemma as a parent. How am I gonna support these guys? So it's a great thing because I became an architect. Thanks to my parents, I got to be in a creative field. So I started this thing called Groundworkk with 2 Ks. And really the idea is real simple. I wanted to support artists. Artists are all grassroots. It always starts small. I did the same thing. Now my concept's pretty simple. Like we all chatter, we all talk. Like tonight I'm talking to you guys. The couple quirks and differences that I do is not only do we talk, but we interact. So kind of at a Groundworkk event, you guys would be asking me a bunch of questions. I'd be responding back to you guys. So I'm not kind of like just preaching to you guys. I want a two-way dialogue with the community. After that, we vote, because we see about 3, 4, sometimes 2. I mean, we started with 2, 20 people around a table, 2 people stood up, talked about their ideas, and we supported one of the 2 ideas. And it's not about like winning or losing, because we've had 9 events that, actually, excuse me, 4 events that came down between 1 vote. So both ideas are highly supported, so there's not like a vote of no confidence. How we do it? Real simple. Mason jar. A couple votes. Everybody gets together, puts $5 into the jar, starts building up. We vote. I mean, it's totally Kickstarter. The only difference is, unlike Kickstarter, where you could support something in San Francisco and never really have a personal connection, this happens right in a room like we are now. So you get to know everybody who's doing things. So to take one little step back, you know, crowdsourcing and all this is all this hip thing and all that. Kind of wanted to dispel that myth. Had a friend come up to me, he's like, ever heard of like rent parties? And I'm like, what are rent parties? So got on the internet, found this document from 1938 in Harlem that this guy, Frank Boyd, just testified what's going on in Harlem and talked about how rents went high, you know, the African American community was like getting shut out. What they started doing was actually putting mason jars in front of their doors. And neighbors who had a few extra dollars would actually put in some money to help out another neighbor to pay their rent. Well, what's really interesting is this kept growing to the point where they actually started doing parties. And so the neighbors would come over, have a party, and throw in their tips for the night to pay each other's rent. Pretty darn awesome. So like the community in Harlem's doing this kind of stuff, just having a good time. And he even documents to the point where when they got musicians, they would improvise. So if you guys are thinking what I'm thinking, hey, we started with this little mason jar. Next thing you know, we're paying and helping each other out as a community. We're creating this. This is 30 years later, or, well, 20 years later. In 1958, Great Day in Harlem. These are 70 of the best jazz musicians of that time. There's no way this picture would have ever been taken. I mean, this is a signature photograph without that mason jar being put in front of a front door to begin with. It's just incredible how something so small can turn into something so big. So, Groundworkk. Started 9 months ago. Here's what we've done. This is already out of date. I love it. We had an event Tuesday night. We've already raised $2,400 and supported different projects, both in Raleigh and Durham. We've had 8 events in Raleigh, 4 events in Durham, 1 in Hillsborough already. We've had a donation of 17 cents from a kid who like walked in with their parent and just put in their change. One of my favorite moments. So, and here's all the projects that have already come through Groundworkk. Not everybody's won support financially, but we've made so many different connections in helping all sorts of projects. So right here, we've got 24 projects in Raleigh, 13 already in Durham that in some way we've affected, which is, to me, astonishing. But what's really astonishing is I started this, and I wanted just to do art. But art does everything. So I kind of took all those projects, reassembled them, and realized, look, we're doing things in education. We're doing things in food. We're doing things in products and making and social stuff. And if you notice, the making and the social stuff's the really, really big stuff. To me, that's incredible. That means art is everywhere. So let me go through a couple really cool signature projects that I think are some of my favorites. We talked about orphans tonight. 2 kids from NC State wanted to start a company called Rescued. We were their first funding. Their models, like Tom's, with all the sales of their t-shirts, they're going to give back to the orphans. And the graphics they use on the t-shirts are actually the graphics and what kids drew in those orphanages. I'm wearing their first shirt. So, and they're giving 25%, which is 15% more than Tom's does. Another project in Durham. January, we launched in Durham. First project was this that got sponsored, was the Durham Photography Parade. All it is we pick point 1, pick point 2, walk across the city. Everybody has a smartphone, take pictures. Next thing you know, you've got an archival set of photographs of Durham, of that section. If they keep repeating this, it's awesome. Chef Kabui, another great person. Once again, now you're seeing the differences too. Now we're getting into food. Chef Kabui, he is from Kenya. He goes back to his village, supports them. He's also started an organic garden in Durham. He also is in the first graduating class of the culinary program at the Chatham Community College. Coors, a nature program that wants to take middle school kids back out into the woods and literally give them time and space to actually journal and look at the world itself and get off their phones for a second. Collegiate skate tour, or another one. I don't know if you guys know, but NC State has a skate team that was sponsored 2 years ago. These guys are trying to raise awareness and try to get the first scholarships for skateboarders as an actual sport to college. So as you can see, these all have social missions. And I'm going to end with this one, landfill dogs. I don't know if you guys know, but at least 50% of all animals that go into a shelter get euthanized. Landfill dogs has been documenting a animal for 1 week for the past 33 weeks. Of those 33 dogs, 31 are still alive. So we just went from a statistic where 50% of the dogs get euthanized to only 6%. I mean, that's art making a huge impact. So if you guys have time, come out to Groundworkk. Help us make a difference. Obviously, there's all the social media stuff. It's real easy. Groundworkk with a second K. Our next event, I'm actually taking a break in June. I've been doing this for 9 months. Gonna in 2 cities. So come out when you can. Thank you.